Good evening, Roger.
Hey, Roger.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Schenk. Trustee Markwart.
Here?
Trustee Forster.
Here.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Here.
Trustee Takaoka.
Here.
Trustee Cook.
Here.
President Byrne.
Here. Is there a motion to appoint trustee Cook president pro tem?
So made.
Second?
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Forster.
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka.
Aye.
Trustee Cook.
Aye.
President Byrne.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Would everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
One nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item is citizens wishing to address the board. Is there anyone here that wants to address the board about something that's not up later? Okay. Anybody have any speaking parts tonight? No? Wow, we're zipping through this.
Boy.
Okay, then, is there a motion, we'll go to the omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A through N?
Motion to approve?
Second.
I had two questions I wanted to talk about. On I, with the parking and that, we may want to look at, just for future reference, potentially extending that, because a couple neighbors in the area asked me about it, instead of just Camden to Westmoreland, that we go from Westmoreland to Westmoreland, all the way around the corner, because the road is basically the same, and there is a lot of traffic through there because of people coming down Westmoreland to Cherry Valley to Camden to cut through that way. And they were suggesting that it might be a good idea for us to take a look at potentially extending it all the way to the second Westmoreland corner.
Yeah, the limits that we set were based on where we typically see the most parking, where it
Yeah.
becomes the issue. But there's no issue on our side.
Yeah,
to-
this was just for, potential future look at it. Was something that a couple of citizens brought up to me that live in that area, and so I was bringing that back.
But is it really, the main issue we thought was because of the apartments there, isn't it?
Yeah, but in terms of heavy traffic flow, the other section from Camden to Westmoreland going the other way is a more heavily traveled area. But there might not be a parking problem there, but they just asked that we, check it out, so that's all I'm not asking us to change this, I'm just asking that we look at it, so.
We can continue to monitor that area, and if we find, just like anywhere else in the village, if we find another issue there where we think that emergency vehicles are having a problem getting through, or our plows, so far my staff has not identified any other pinch points other than this one, but we can certainly keep that, pay attention to that location you're referring to.
Okay. And then my other quick question was on J. What was the final, or have we got a final yet on the sidewalk from nowhere to nowhere?
The sidewalk from nowhere to nowhere has been
Yeah.
removed. In response to the discussion, they talked about it internally and resubmitted. So the version that you see attached to the ordinance is a site plan without that additional east-west walkway from the beer garden west to the Mall Drive sidewalk. And the way the ordinance is written, it specifically refers to that revised plan.
Okay, all right. Okay, those were my only two questions, so,
Back to the Cherry Valley thing.
Yes.
So right now, there's parking on both sides of the street, and they're suggesting us look into removing it from one side?
yeah, that it be one
So-
side only, the whole
Yes.
Cherry Valley from Westmoreland to Westmoreland.
It might actually increase traffic, though, if there aren't as many cars on both sides. It might encourage people to cut through more if it's easier to make your way through. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the case or not.
No, I mean, that's a major cut through right now as it is, so.
From a traffic flow standpoint, we haven't gotten any complaints through that area. The main reason that we brought this ordinance to the board was due to our plow vehicles, our big bucket trucks we use for doing tree maintenance, and then also working with the fire department, asking them about their emergency vehicles. So based on those factors, that the one area that we highlighted is the one that has been the problem. But again, we can continue to monitor these other locations.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions, anything on this? Okay, then roll call, please.
Trustee Takaoka.
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Forster.
Aye.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
President Byrne.
Aye.
Chairman Pro Tem Cook.
Aye, motion carries. And we have no unfinished business, correct? And no new business or communication. I just had a couple things. One, and I'll let Chief amplify a little bit. Saturday, I attended the fundraiser for Fireman Tony's, the bowling at Bolero, and it was a really well-attended event, and they raised a lot of money. And I was also made aware at that point that we have a significant honor coming up. Chief, do you have the information on it? One of our officers, Dan Mead, has been chosen as a hometown hero and will be honored as such at a Wolves game. So,
Yeah, Chicago Wolves game on Sunday, March 10th at 3 o'clock. Our school resource officer assigned to the high school district, Dan Mead, many in the community know him, and he was nominated as a hometown hero and is going to be recognized during that game. So we certainly would invite any members of the community to go watch a good hockey game and cheer Dan on.
yeah, it's a great recognition. He does great work at the high school, so just cheer that. Any other communications or anything? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the board meeting and go to committee of the whole.
I move to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned from the board. Mayor, back to you.
Okay. I'd like to call the committee of the whole meeting to order. Is there a motion to approve Trustee Cook, President Pro Tem?
So made.
Second?
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustee Forster.
Aye.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka.
Aye.
Trustee Cook.
Aye.
President Byrne.
Aye.
Motion carries. First item is the approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of February 6th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, motion a second. Any comments, questions, corrections? And these are the corrected minutes, just like with the previous ones. Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Forster.
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka.
Aye.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Aye.
President Byrne.
Aye.
Chairman Pro Tem Cook.
Aye, motion carries. Only item is the Tapville Social Hawthorn Mall Unit 115 Concept Review.
Thank you. As I'm sure you'll remember, this item was on for a discussion with the committee back on January 9th. Representatives of Tapville Social, the business itself, and the Hawthorn Mall were here to discuss the unique concept, which is a self-pour business requesting a type of liquor license that we don't currently have, which was a sip and stroll license. So in addition to the self-pour, they would also need the ability to, they were requesting the ability to allow customers to take beverages out of the unit and into the common areas of the mall. The committee at that meeting did have some concern with control over the sale of alcoholic beverages and requested staff do some additional research into it. So at this point, the police chief has done some additional discussion. If you have questions, he could probably fill you in on that. And although Tapville was on a flight that was delayed Joe from Tapville, who you met at the previous meeting, wasn't able to make it tonight. Representatives of the mall are here and able to answer questions. Just one note from the staff memo on this. In reviewing the other municipalities that do have sip and stroll licensing and self-pour licensing, there are aspects of the Schaumburg and Rosemont licenses that if the committee does wish for us to proceed to draft a license class, my suggestion would be to take elements of those two with the feedback of the committee and work on something that involves a joint licensing between the mall and the business, if it is the direction of the committee to work on something. So with that, I'm happy to have representatives of the mall come forward. And as I said, the chief could probably fill you in on his work as well.
Well, and it seemed one of our Sorry, it seemed that one of our main questions was we wanted to find out what kind of experience other communities had had, and Chief, you said you'd looked into that?
Sure. Happy to report to you that I spoke with the chiefs of each of those 3 jurisdictions. They reported that the business model there has been successful, has not resulted in any kind of disruption or Bassett violations, and they don't have any concerns with the model as proposed in front of you.
Questions from the board, because that seemed to be our one thing we wanted to check. Anybody?
I guess, how big is the common area outside the place you're looking at?
So this location is actually in line. So as far as, I guess I don't know how to answer that.
I don't know, I just can't
I mean,
really.
the common area, it would be the entirety of the
Oh,
mall.
it's the
It's the whole
entirety of
mall.
Yeah, like that's what.
Yeah,
we're
you can
requesting.
wander any-
It's like sort of
Yeah.
No, you can wander anywhere in the mall.
in the whole mall.
Unless, if I was my understanding, some of the businesses are going to have signs that if they individually choose not to allow it, they will have a sign of some sort?
Sure, of course. I mean, for example, our Disney gallery that they have no food, no drink
Yeah.
signs already. that,
Those you can't even bring a Coca-Cola in.
Sure,
Yeah.
right.
And it's plastic cups, I'm assuming, right?
They are.
Outside.
Yeah.
What about taking it outside
No, so
or down the road? Because I've seen one of those in Denver where it's really an indoor-outdoor deal, but the outdoor is connected. That actually works, but it's kind of fenced off.
Sure. So my intention is to approach just for Hawthorn Center itself.
Right.
So nothing with like the exterior row or
Right.
like the domain. It's specifically for the building.
Oh. Chief, do you have any issues with walking around the mall with cups of beer?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
I think from a practical standpoint, if there are underage, people consuming alcohol, it's probably not that they're spending a premium craft beer or a glass of wine at this particular vendor, but they're probably using other means to get their Natty Light or their Jack Daniels into a beverage container.
Right,
and-
very true, right?
Yeah, so, and I'm not giving anybody any ideas, but we've run into that before at the mall, and I'm sure we will in the future, but
Yeah.
I think this is a vendor who is going to Bassett train all their employees, probably not going to be the source of a widespread problem in the community. There could always be a violation.
Yeah, of course.
And we will check this like we do all of our liquor license holders. So
Thank you.
Can we readdress the issue, the area that's pictured in green that's currently an establishment?
Sure.
That currently has a liquor license?
Yes.
That's only for the defined area in green?
Correct.
And how long is their lease for? What?
I mean, so their lease expires, I believe, at the end of July. I mean, they're killing it, so I hope that they renew and stay with us. I don't intend them leaving.
Are they upset with this situation?
No, I think that we do a really good job of pitching this scenario as an opportunity to, just expand and maybe like drive traffic between the two of them. Our coffee kiosk, is not selling, like wine from, like anywhere. I'm not a wine drinker, so I'm I'm sorry, but it's just like a glass of Stella. It's a random Riesling that you could probably find at the grocery store. I don't think that there's anything necessarily very special about the alcohol that's being served at the coffee kiosk. I don't think that there will be any type of competition. I think that they'll be able to play off of each other.
Okay.
You don't think people will say, well, why would I go to the coffee kiosk if I can go literally 10 feet away and then take the drink anywhere
Sure.
instead of
Sure.
forced to sit right here?
So Tapville won't be selling Stella. So the only beer on tap that our coffee kiosk has is Stella Artois. So that's not something that would be offered for Tapville. So I mean, I guess that's a personal.
I mean, is that the only, what else do they sell at the kiosk? Is it
They
just Stella?
sell. They have like a Prosecco. They have a white wine. They have a red wine. You can honestly walk up and say like, I'd like white or red. There isn't anything like very detailed about their liquor selection. I'd also like to point out that when they did obtain their liquor license, their sales didn't fluctuate in any type of way where I would see that it was like drastically aiding in like monthly sales. So I think it's just kind of like a nice benefit, maybe.
So you're saying that's not a big part of their sales, it's mostly everything else for them.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Mayor, you have anything?
No, I would say it's like with the chief's comments of how this has been received and handled in the other communities where they already are.
Okay,
So it's okay with me.
so then what you're looking for is, we don't even need a motion tonight, you're just looking for direction to,
Direction, just confirmation that the approach that staff has suggested thus far would be to have joint licensing, so both entities would be submitting a plan together for security that would involve the business as well as the mall itself. And then the controls that were discussed with the committee last time, branding of the cups, that sort of thing, clear signage denoting where the premises ends. There are other properties that are not actually owned by the mall. So putting a sign up as you would be exiting the common area and entering those, as well as allowing any tenant to have signage that prohibits food and beverage.
and then you'll just bring the a draft ordinance back.
Draft ordinance back at
Okay.
a future meeting.
So
All right,
an example of which areas you're referring to, obviously the AMC is not,
Macy's, for example.
so Macy's, so they can't go into Macy's, which Macy's would be just like any other business anyway, just saying, no outside drinks allowed or whatever.
Sure.
Macy's actually owns its property. Macy's and Penny's, the mall does not own that in fee simple.
yeah, they're the
That's
only
a
two
different-
remaining.
That's a different property,
Yeah.
so.
So even if they wanted to allow it, they,
That would not be a
wouldn't-
part of the licensed premises. It would be
Right.
what the mall
so they-
owns.
so people, even if they wanted to let people come in with alcohol and shop there, they wouldn't be allowed to.
Correct, not under this license. What we would be drafting would be specific, we would be defining the premises to the unit and then the common area and the portions of the mall owned and controlled by this owner.
Yeah, and they're the only two left that are not owned by the mall, right?
Do you have any sense of whether or not Macy's would want to be part of this?
I don't know.
Should we look into that? Because maybe people will want to shop at Macy's and walk around with a drink there, and they don't sell alcohol, so maybe.
It's difficult with their clothes.
I don't know if it's,
We can approach them. Sure.
While we're drafting this, we can work with the mall to see if there's any.
Okay, anything else? So everybody's, go ahead and,
Yeah, so
Okay.
approach both Macy's and Penny's and see if they're interested, and, because they might say,
Sure.
yeah, sure, bring it on.
okay,
Okay,
all right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, nothing else on this either, correct? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I don't know.
I move to adjourn. And no,
Second.
No closed session, so. Is it? Okay, motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Hey,
Nobody opposed, all right. Okay.
near record time,
Pretty close. Pretty
Is that
close to a
record?
record.
even with some real discussion.
Nice, 20 minutes, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, Mayor, good night.